My name is Shiloh, Avery. This is Tumbling Shoals Farm. My husband Jason and we bought the property in 2007 and started the farm in 2008 and have been growing it and expanding it ever since. We're a certified organic, diversified vegetable operation. We grow 50 different crops and then umpteen gazillion varieties of those crops. And we're right now in a big expansion phase. So a lot of changes happening on the farm right now. Building new structures, hiring a lot of new people. We are transitioning into different roles. Historically, we've been 2.8 acres, a lot of hand labor. We grow in the bottomland, which is beautiful sandy loam soil until it floods, which we've had 4 major floods now, 400-year floods now. So we're starting to eye up the higher ground a little bit more. The higher ground is a lot more clay, less sand. It's a different growing environment, but the sandy loam is still great as long as the creek stays in its banks. We've had a 13-year crop rotation on that 2.8 acres. The expansion crop rotation is still in development. So right now it's like that structure's built, the crop is gonna go in that structure, or that field is ready. But we're still working on developing the expanded rotation. But it has historically been a 13-year rotation, crop rotation. And weed management we're really into prevention. And that's just a tenet of organic agriculture. We don't have a ton of tools to use to react to problems, weeds, pest, disease, or they're not quite as effective as conventional agriculture tools are. So we're a lot based in prevention. So we'd like to prevent the weeds so we don't have to spend what for us would be a lot of labor getting the weeds after they're already grown. So we've historically grown everything on landscape fabric, which is our answer to black plastic, because it's reusable, so it's a little more labor and a little more expensive up front, but then you get to reuse it for 20 years. But as we expand, that becomes impractical, so we're switching to a plastic-based system for the new bigger fields. Disease prevention, it's all about airflow. So we in the Southeast, it's humid, everything we do, we get a little too much water. I would love to share with the West if we could, but we get a little too much water. So everything that we do here is kind of mitigating too much water. We have a lot of drainage around the fields. We have a lot of structures to protect the crops from direct rainfall. It's still humid in there and hot, which disease likes. So we space plants further apart than one might see, say, in California. They might be crammed in there to get higher yields, but that's just a breeding ground for disease for us here in the Southeast. So we space things a lot further apart to get airflow, to get the plants dry. So we practice a lot of strategies for disease management, which is our biggest pest. Disease, insects, crop rotation, diversity kind of protects us from disastrous insect outbreaks, beneficial habitats. There are a lot of tools, and then we do have some I'm gonna call them reactionary tools in our toolkit for if a pest becomes out of control. But generally when a whole system is managed organically, I should knock on wood when I say this, but generally when a whole system is managed organically, there's enough balance that the insect pests are less of a problem. We became certified organic as soon as possible, which for us was in 2010. We bought the property in 2007, and it takes 3 years of no prohibited substances. And so we always grew organically, we always managed organically, but we weren't able to get certification until 2010. I am a firm believer in the certified organic system. I believe as small farms, we need to stay involved in certified organic, because if we all walk away for whatever all of our individual reasons are, giant ag is going to take over and water down those standards. And by keeping us involved and in tune with that system, serving on boards, we have small growers on the National Organic Standards Board, and keeping us involved and engaged is going to keep that system, which of course is imperfect, and a lot of it is based on integrity and documentation, but that's going to keep there a meaning to the word organic. So that's a big reason why we've chose to be certified organic. The other reason is we have been historically a farmers market-based operation, and you don't have time at farmers market to talk to every customer about how you grow things. So having that big fat organic sign is a signal to them. They may want to know more, but it's a signal to them that this is organic. And so the people looking for organic will stop without me having to like talk and explain, like, yes, we grow organically, but we're not certified for blah, blah, blah reasons. It's just way easier from a marketing perspective. And then if you do any wholesale, they cannot legally sell your product as organic if you're not certified. And so, not that we do a lot of wholesale, but if we have sold to some grocery stores, and we want them to be able to sell it as organic on their shelves. What we didn't understand is that you can build up disease populations. So for your first 3 years, you can be in a spray ever operation, but you can build up disease population and not know it. And so about year 5, suddenly we were like getting wiped out by disease, despite like having widened spacing and done all the crop rotation and done all the things that we were taught to do. But again, this is the Southeast. So what we didn't understand specifically was that those things could be building up unbeknownst to you if you're not taking care of them early. And so about year 5 and 6, we had a rude awakening. They're like, oh no, we are going to sometimes have to spray. They're organic products, they don't persist in the soil, they're not systemic, they photodegrade, but we're going to have to sometimes control disease with spray. And so that's an unfortunate thing, I think, for us. And I guess one of the other things is you're eventually, as you grow, unless you're going to stay a micro farm and it's just going to be you or you and your partner, your job is going to be managing people. And so you may be trying to learn all you can about organic production and marketing and all the hats that farmers wear, but what you're really going to be doing is managing people. And so investing some time and education into learning to manage people. That would have done us well to know that, to understand that ahead of time and put some investment in education on people management. Because we had to learn a lot of things the hard way, and people quit and we had a lot of turnover, not because we were mean people or anything, we just didn't understand management as well as we could have.